highlight the commercialism of Christmas. For example, in France, MPs want to ban Black Friday sales on the grounds that it's bad for the planet and promotes overconsumption. So we've got Ed Gannon, editor of the Weekly Times and writer and broadcaster, Titus O'Reilly. Thank you very much, guys, for coming in. OK, we've got to ask, first up, are either of you, do you go to shopping centres? Do you shop? Do you go to sales?
I try to avoid shopping centres as much as I can. I avoid sales, like physical sales, go there. I mean, online you might have a look, but yeah, I'm not a fan.
What about you, Titus?
Well, no, online I'm more likely to do it than to actually go somewhere. Yeah, except for maybe the bottle shop, but apart from that.
OK, so have you looked into Black Friday and are you going to...
You know, I'm like a lot of us, you sort of... You know, it's the cycle. You get an email. I got an email from a clothing store and I thought, well, I've got to buy some shirts and stuff anyway, and it was all 30-40% off. So it's a purchase I probably would have made anyway. So I go and buy it, and suddenly you got all this stuff, and you know, and it's the wonderful circle of capitalism, the circle of life. You buy all this stuff in Black Friday, and then the same people will be telling you how they've found Marie Kondo and are decluttering their life.
Ah, that's very true.
About 6 months later.
I know. What about this French idea that you know, they want to ban the sales because they say it's just over commercialisation and over consumption, which is such a big thing in America.
The over commercialisation is the thing. I mean, what do we have? You know, we're a month from Christmas. And we're having this huge thing right now, and then we get to Christmas time, and then we have Christmas, and then we have the huge thing, the Boxing Day sales, and then we have another splurge. It's just this bit in there we don't need. And the whole thing is engaged with Thanksgiving Day in America. It's meant to be the day after. We don't have Thanksgiving Day.
I just should say to people, if you're listening and watching, to send your thoughts and comments through to the Facebook page, because we're getting them here on our trusty little smart device and we'll be able to read them out. Angela says, it's shoved down our throats by corporate retail giants. Wonder how she really feels.
So I feel a little bit that way with things like Mother's Day and Father's Day. Now they've just become these huge commercial things that they're pushed upon you.
Do you reckon that's getting older? Because I have to say, I'm getting a bit over all of the buying stuff. And with my sisters this year, we've talked about giving second-hand gifts to each other because we're getting slightly over the commercialisation thing. Or is that a mood in the community, do you think, Titus, that... there was actually an economic prediction which I read earlier this year saying that in the next decade we're going to be over stuff. We're going to get more over stuff.
I think that too, but I mean, people just love buying stuff. You know, you see the crowds lining up. I mean, some of the most violent scenes I've ever seen are, you know, the Boxing Day sales or people still love to get stuff. It's the human in us. We often say, oh, we won't buy it. But then we find ourselves buying something, and later on you think, why did I buy that? You know, and
how much of these American traditions are we going to adopt, though?
See, look, I don't like Halloween, but I reckon I've lost that now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You have.
That's well and truly
I'm
entrenched
so with you, though,
now.
Ed.
Yeah.
And I got shouted down.
Yeah. And for a long time I said, no, I just can't stand it. But it's here, and it's so strong. You go to supermarkets, and there's just so many products there about Halloween.
So next year we'll be cooking turkeys
and
celebrating Thanksgiving for an excuse to have same Thanksgiving sales.
Yeah, that's my worry, is that because it is hooked on the end of Thanksgiving. So if you're going to be having Black Friday sales, the conclusion is we're going to start to have Thanksgiving.
Speaking of discounts, Titus, you've got a new book out. So how much is your book going to be discounted by this Friday?
Well, I don't think they go far enough. I'm willing to pay people to have it. I'll even come around and read it. But it is the pressure to discount all the time is amazing. And the funny thing with books often is, you know, your book will come out and it will be discounted on day one.
Yeah, that's true.
How does that make you feel?
Well, they all do. So it's not, it's just the way the industry works now.
Well, because people want to feel like they're getting a sale.
Well, that's what I think about Black Friday, though. I mean, you know, when it's a lot of these purchases of things people would probably buy anyway at some point over the year, the pressure, the race to the bottom that retailers have to have these discounts, do they just have to raise the prices? Like, they have to just factor in that this is what they're going to be selling a certain amount at this amount. So it just becomes the new norm after a while.
Can I just ask about Christmas shopping? Who does the Christmas shopping in your family?
Oh, I do most of it. Yeah, so I'll go
You're
down.
bucking the gender trend there, I reckon.
Well, I don't mind going Christmas shopping, you know. I don't. You can just, you know, with young kids too, you just go to the one spot.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's also the bigger problem I have is it's also cheap now. You know, and this dates me, makes me sound very old, but I think I had none. Like, you couldn't afford all this stuff when we were kids, so I'd get one or two things and you'd cherish them.
That's so true.
You know, otherwise kids these days, they look at one thing and they go, I'm bored now.
Yeah.
You know, like within 2 minutes.
Chloe says, I think it's helpful for people who don't have a lot of money, who need to buy Christmas presents. It's not two separate shopping periods, but rather using the sale to save money. So B says, she's on you with the stuff. B says, maybe I'm getting old, or maybe it's because of my environmental concerns. I really just don't want or need stuff anymore. It doesn't matter if it's a bargain.
Yeah, I agree. Got to raise one other issue about Black Friday, is the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird name.
It's Black Friday means something in Australian history.
Yes.
It's the 1939 fires. There's 71 people died. It actually means something to us, and to have it hijacked by this sort of sits a little bit uneasily.
Oh, I have seen some quotes from people who
Yeah.
suffered losses in that fire and have said, look, it's okay. You know, we've moved on.
Yeah,
It's
there's
a different thing. But they're definitely, you're not alone in feeling slightly...
Yeah, there's just something I
that.
read something the other day about it. I thought, yeah, there's something there too. So,
Do you do the Christmas shopping in your family?
well, I certainly do for my wife. For the kids, my wife does more for the kids. I mean, they're all teenagers too. We had this conversation yesterday about what do you get them nowadays, and you know, it's sort of they're in that sort of weird world. They're not little kids anymore. So, well, yeah. She probably thinks about it more than I do.
Oh, really? That's a big admission from you there, Ed. Well done.
Well, Ed and Titus, you know, the day is slipping by. You've only got a few more hours to get out there and get amongst it. Jump into those sales.
No, it won't be me.
Hey, well, thank you very much, both of you, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, while we are talking about things that you just throw away, single-use